Hello, and welcome to the Underpaid Gamers podcast. My name is Tony. This is Justin.
Hi!
I was going to try to do your intro, and I forgot.
That's alright.
It's been a long day. Listen, I woke up at 4:30 this morning to go to work.
Wait, 4:30 p.m.?
4:30 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
So I might not have a filter.
That's alright.
So,
we'll make it through.
Hey.
That's the wonderful power of editing.
That's right. Although we don't do that.
I don't think we ever... Wait, no. There was one episode. We edited out one word. 2 words.
I don't remember.
It was somebody's name.
Today's episode.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I remember now. We're going to talk about... Oh, shoot. I don't have... Okay.
We're talking about...
We're going to talk about Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem Fates.
We're going to talk about Daredevil Season 2, what we expect.
And what we hope for.
And what we hope for. I have notes. You don't have any, don't worry about it. I'll lead you through it.
Tony leads me through everything.
We're going to talk about The Division and DC comic movies.
And Overwatch.
And Star Wars movies. And Overwatch games.
And Ghostbusters.
And Marvel movies.
There it is. So many things. So, here we are. Back in the lovely recording studio.
My office.
His office, which...
/ second
looks
bedroom to
like
my...
a lot like a gaming cave.
It's not bad.
It is not bad.
I have this shelf of nerd.
It's well organized, I'd
which
say.
is nice.
It's
and
not
I have
cluttered.
my awesome Marth Falco posters.
You got Spider-Man
I got
posters.
2 Spider-Man posters.
Captain America.
Avenger poster.
Marth Falco.
I got all my Spider-Man stuff right there.
all the video games.
I got
Dude.
video games all over the place.
And it's like it's not cluttered really. I mean, it's pretty well organized.
It's not
I'd
bad.
say. I've seen a lot worse.
It's cluttered for me right now.
I would say
there's some clothes that need to be put away.
Yeah, I saw that.
And the door is closed, which makes it feel smaller.
It does.
But it's a nice room.
It is a
enjoy
nice room. So
I enjoy it.
it.
PlayStation
beta. Oh my
for
goodness.
the 3.5 update.
Huh.
You want to know what's in it?
Tell me.
It's a beta.
Talk to me.
Things that we wanted to know. Things that we wanted for a while. They're testing it out. Friend online notification. So when a friend comes online, you get a notification.
Right.
I think you can personalize it to specific people.
Nice.
So that's nice.
Because there's definitely people I don't care about.
Ouch.
Sorry.
But
just being
okay,
honest.
so on PlayStation 3, you get a notification when someone signed on and when somebody signed off. Super frustrating. On Xbox 360, you got a notification when people signed on, not when they signed off. On PS4, you don't get any notifications about people signing on or off, I believe. Okay. Now, they're making it so I think it's just when people sign on, which is what I like, because I like to know when my friends get on.
Right.
Although I generally get invited to a party as soon as they get on.
Yep.
Not that that's a problem.
That's just the type of friends we have.
I would rather know beforehand.
Yep.
You know?
It's nice. Nice to know.
Appearing offline is getting added.
Nice.
Which is a much needed feature.
Yes.
And because...
I watch Netflix and people are like, hey, come to my party. And I feel really rude, but I'm watching Netflix.
Come to my party and play Destiny.
So I'm not about ready to do that. Wait, does that mean it's time for our favorite segment of the day already?
Yay!
You said it. What do you think it is? I'm guessing 25.
Okay, explain the segment while I get
20.
there.
This segment is a recent phenomenon. It's happened organically. We didn't actually plan this. It just started happening. We check on Twitch the current ranking of Destiny.
By ranking, you mean how far down it is based on viewers?
Yes.
I'm not looking. I already saw it.
Oh my gosh, we're dying today.
It's in the top 10.
Oh my gosh, I thought it would be 22.
But there's only 7,000 viewers. There's not a lot of people on Twitch right now. League of Legends has a normal 100,000 viewers.
Yep.
CSGO only has 60,000, and Hearthstone has like 52.
Man.
The Division has 47,000.
That game comes out like tomorrow.
It comes out tomorrow.
I guess people have early access.
People have early access because that thing happened. Overwatch is down here.
Dang.
Yeah.
So Destiny number 10 today.
Good for you, Destiny.
Higher than what we thought it would be.
Congratulations. Who's streaming right now? Don't care. Don't know.
Back to the news.
Play Together feature on the PSN update.
Okay.
It's essentially just going to see what your other friends are playing in the party, and then it's easier to join them.
Interesting.
So I mean, whatever.
It'll be updated.
There's going to have remote play for PC and Mac. The things I'm most excited about this is the friend online notification and peer on offline.
Wow. Go back to the PC stream. Does that mean I can play on my PC?
We're bringing PS4 remote play to Windows, PC, and Mac. This feature won't be available to test in the beta. We can look forward to it soon. That's all it says.
Oh, that sounds really exciting to me.
Who knows?
Some news. My desktop died like 3 months ago. It's like last November. I looked on Steam and I was like, when's the last time I played a game? It was like November. And I was like, wow, it's been that long. So this month I was like, my budget can afford this. That's before I did my taxes, of course.
Ooh.
But I was like, I can do this. So I like bought a couple parts, fixed it up real good. Now it's running smooth. Figured out the problem.
Nice.
Started playing some good old RTSs, real-time strategy games.
Like what?
Such as Humble Bundle had a Star Wars bundle, and one of those was Empire War with like 1,000 other games. So there are two I'm playing. One is from like 2000, the year 2000, called Star Wars Rebellion, which we had as a kid. Me and my brother used to play it all the time. He was the one who texted me about the Humble Bundle just for that one. It was $1.
Wait, was this the brother that didn't see Star Wars until like this past weekend?
No, this is
the other brother that saw Star Wars at a reasonable time.
This is the brother that has listened to our podcast.
What a good guy.
I know. We like that guy. We play games with him occasionally. That one.
Not the other one.
Not the other one. I don't think he's ever listened to the podcast. If he did, I'm very proud of him.
He doesn't have time.
He
didn't see Star Wars until like last week.
He has like family.
It's March. Star Wars came out in December.
I know. I was happy it's still in theaters. So, for those of you who don't know, I watched Star Wars for the 4th time in theaters.
I've only seen it
with
once.
my brother.
I planned on seeing it twice, but I never actually got around to it.
Dude, it was so good. I'm glad I took that break because I could have totally gotten burned out on it if I'd seen it a 4th time after the 2 weeks after it came out. But man, I had an itch. My brother was like, "Let's go see it." And I was like, "Sweet, let's do it." Except for I convinced him. I made him do it. He was like, "Yeah, let's go see it," but I don't know. I don't know if my wife wants me to do it. And I was like, "Dude, let me talk to her." And I talked to her, and she was like, "Yeah, it's fine." I was like, "Sweet." You're just trying to use crazy excuses, trying to get out of that. So either way, went and saw it again. It was awesome, and my PC's working, so I'm super pumped.
Back from the dead.
I know. I've been using my work computer for everything, which is probably not the best choice because it's a work computer.
Speaking of Back from the Dead.
Speaking of Back from the Dead.
Spider-Man news.
Oh my gosh.
Sony Picture news. Okay, so
Talk to me.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Jamie Foxx and Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone.
Yep.
Was not received very well.
I liked it.
So because of that, they have canceled that franchise essentially.
It's over.
And they're gonna I don't think they're gonna reboot it, but it's confirmed now that Spider-Man's gonna be in Civil War.
And it's gonna be a different person acting as Spider-Man.
I believe his name is Tom Holland.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be in there, but before Spider-Man 2 came out, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out, they were already slated to have a Sinister Six movie.
Okay.
Which is 6 of Spider-Man's villains all teamed up against him. 6 of his best villains. I love the Sinister Six. However, because they kind of had to scrap it. So they really don't have any plans for Spider-Man right now, except they now have almost confirmed that there's going to be a Venom movie.
Oh.
But it's not going to be in the Spider-Man set of movies, if that makes sense. So Venom's going to have his own movie, is what they're saying.
Interesting. Is Spider-Man going to appear in the movie?
I would assume so. I mean,
feel like
Venom
he has to.
Venom has been a villain in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Now he's more of an anti-hero in the
more modern comics.
I want to call it meta. What is it called?
Expanded universe?
The
that's
canon.
Star Wars. The canon?
He's more of an anti-hero now in the canon, where he used to be a villain. But it'll be interesting to see, because they haven't really done. No one's really done movies about a villain before, as far as I can, other than The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Which is about the Joker.
True. Let's be honest. It's good though. Man, The Dark Knight. We talked about that last episode. I don't want to talk more about it, but man, it's good.
Anyways, I love Spider-Man.
Yep.
Venom's gonna be awesome. Batman v Superman.
Oh my gosh.
They have said that the R rating that they have promised us is not any more violent or any more bloody or any more cursy or any more nudity.
So why is it
It's
R?
just a longer cut.
Okay.
And the way that they explained the rating system is that scenes of intensity, if they go on for a certain amount of time, can raise a rating from PG-13 to R.
Interesting.
So the R-rated movie is just 30 minutes longer, but they said all the scenes are much more intense. They're longer intensity.
That makes sense.
So they cut it down. So they've been quoted at Batman v Superman going to be about 2.5 hours. With the R rating, it's going to be a little bit over 3 hours.
Oh wow, that's a long
so
movie.
30 to 40 minutes of extra intensity, which would have raised it to an R-rated movie. But don't go in expecting more violence, more Batman's not going to rip anybody's arms out.
He's not going to be breaking legs and leaving you in the street.
Well,
that'll probably happen. That's Batman.
Probably will.
Let's be honest. Sweet.
But to go along with that, because Batman v Superman is kind of a segue into the Justice League, because everyone's going to be in Batman v Superman. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman.
Okay.
They're all going to be in there.
Sweet.
Guess who's not going to be in there?
My favorite.
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
They have said that Green Lantern is not going to show up until Justice League Part 2.
Wow.
So some people were like, oh, he's going to get his own movie beforehand. No.
He's not? He's just going to show up?
He's not even confirmed in Justice League Part 2. He might get his own movie after Justice League Part 2.
So is he going to even be in the Justice League movies?
He's not going to be in part 1. That's confirmed.
Dang.
But he might be in part 2 is what they're saying. It's so weird because Marvel has already done this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
They've already had all their movies set up.
Very specifically, and like clockwork. It's come out yearly.
Now they're getting much deeper into their other characters.
Yeah.
Netflix shows. Things like there's going to be a Black Panther movie, stuff like that.
Yeah.
DC is still working on their biggest franchise, the Justice League.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like they're I mean, from what I understood a couple of years ago, DC was planning on doing like a reboot of all their major characters to build up to a Justice League movie. Just
the New 52.
Yeah, the New 52. Building up to the Avengers movie, but Justice League. And so it was going to be like a long, drawn-out thing, just like the first wave of the MCU would be.
Yeah.
So now it just sounds like they're throwing it all in one movie.
Yeah, I think Batman v Superman is like just the start. Like, oh look, everybody's here. Next movie is going to be like Justice League Part 1, I assume. And that'll probably be like 2019.
Okay.
And then maybe Justice League Part 2 will be like 2021. And then Green Lantern will probably be like 2035. The way they're talking.
Dang, we'll probably have kids by then. I don't know anything about that.
Most likely we'll have kids by then.
You probably will.
It's like 15 years.
I'll be single for life.
There you go.
Let's keep going.
Let's talk about exclusivity and pre-order bonuses
and
what Star Wars is doing with Target.
Okay,
Enlighten me.
Let's just be specific here. You don't have to pre-order it to get the exclusive content. But let me go back even further.
Exclusive content? What could you be talking about?
So Target, the wonderful grocery /
shopping center,
shopping store that you go to for anything and everything.
Target.
They have an exclusive deal apparently for a Star Wars Blu-ray
DVD
Deluxe Edition.
What? A Deluxe Edition?
That comes with 30 minutes of extra content and like an art pamphlet that comes with it too.
Can I get that version anywhere else?
No, you have to get it at Target.
I have to get it at Target.
You can pre-order it if you want. I don't think there's a bonus. I don't believe there's a bonus for pre-ordering it, but you can only get it at Target. So automatically, I'm going to Target for it.
Right.
For the 30 minutes of extra content. I think it's like extra deleted scenes or like the making of, short little documentary thing. I can't remember. I'm going to watch it though. So there's that. Now Tony has a concern, and I can definitely understand this concern.
Literally the worst idea ever.
Tony, explain your concern.
Exclusivity in movies is awful. That's just bad. Like, good for Target, they're going to make so much money off of this.
Yep.
But for literally the consumer and everybody else, it's going to be awful. Second of all...
Well, can't the consumer just go to Target?
Target can't have that many... And someone's not going to know about this exclusivity. They're going to go somewhere else and be like, I'm now to buy Star Wars again to get this 30 extra minutes.
But wouldn't those who care know?
No?
I mean, it's pretty well advertised. I've already seen like 3 things about it.
I literally just saw this today.
I mean, it came out this week. So, it came out in the last 4 days.
What day is it? Is it Monday?
It's Monday.
It's Monday.
Oh my gosh, Mondays.
Anyways, games used to do this.
Yes.
Games still do this.
They still do this.
You can still... There's like 3 different copies of Tomb Raider. You get something, if you pre-order it at Walmart, you get something.
Yep.
If you pre-order it at GameStop, you get something.
Yep.
Pre-order it online to get something.
Yep.
I was lucky enough to get the pre-order from GameStop that also included the Walmart version somehow. So I got all that stuff. None of it was important. But
it's like
movies,
extra skins.
Like, what is movies? What are... Exclusivity in movies is so frustrating. They're going to have pre-order bonuses in movies now.
Maybe.
They're going to have DLC for movies now.
Maybe.
There's
a lot of speculation right there, but if that were to happen, it would definitely
be the worst.
Not be a positive thing, in my opinion. I don't like that stuff. But if you think differently, viewers, feel free to send us hate mail or leave a comment.
Dude,
it can be positive, too.
Let's talk about how Target is killing it recently, in a good way. In a we're making money way.
Can you...
Star Wars.
Okay, Star Wars. Exclusivity.
Nuka-Cola.
Nuka-Cola.
That's literally my only 2 examples.
Dude, I love both those things.
Right.
Those are both great. Loving it.
Right? I don't know who's contacting Target. I don't know who their salesperson is.
Yeah.
They're going to all the right places and they're making all this money.
Yeah, and not to mention when I go to Target, it's always got like slightly better stuff than Walmart. At least that's how I feel. Like if
By
I'm
stuff,
going,
you mean customers?
Not necessarily customers. That's not what came to mind. I was thinking like for some reason I was thinking bowls, which is really dumb. But like I was like shopping for like silverware and I don't know, plateware, and I was like, man, I went to Walmart and I was like, dude, this selection is terrible. It's all like super cheap and flimsy.
Yeah,
then I went to Target and it was like super like artistic-y and it was like $1 more, but dude, it looks so nice.
Some of that stuff can be expensive. But everyone always talks about, well, I've heard many times that people would rather pay a little bit more to go to Target and not have to deal with people at Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart's also just really crowded. It seems like overstocked and like everything's
overstocked?
Sometimes.
Really?
I just feel like there's like pallets in the walkway and like half the time.
If I ever need to go somewhere really quickly and get something, I go to Walmart.
Yeah.
But if I want like good quality something, I go to Target.
Yeah.
I went when I was getting Fire Emblem. I couldn't get it from GameStop. I immediately went to Target and just blew off Walmart.
With video games, I think an underrated place to go is Meijer.
I forgot about Meijer.
I go to Meijer when I can't find games anywhere else. Like Tony, you were looking for Fire Emblem Fates.
Don't even.
And you ordered online.
I ordered it from Amazon.
And that same day I went to Meijer. I went to Meijer that same day. And I was like, hey, they have both versions of Fire Emblem at Meijer, right?
That was like a week.
Okay, maybe it was a week.
It was like a week after. I'm like, I've already ordered it. It's too late.
But either way, they had it. And I was like, dang. And there have been times in the past when like Call of Duty would drop and I'd buy it on day of release where...
Dude, Meijer's awesome because they're 24 hours.
Yeah.
And there's no lines for pre-ordering.
Yeah, I pre-ordered through Meijer before and it was like the best experience.
You just walk up and if you go to GameStop and you pre-order I went to pre-order of Destiny.
It's like 2 hours long.
It was like 2 hours. I had to get there at like 11.
I hated the pre-order of Destiny. Also because the dude was like, hey, here's the code. I highlight it for you so you know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
And then the guy in the line was like, hey, make sure you have highlighter on your receipt. That way you know you're good. And then I went through the line. I went up to the dude to get my pre-order, and he's like, oh, wait, you don't have the right receipt. You got to go up to the thing, go back in line. I was like, dude, it has highlighter on it, just like you said. And the guy was like, sorry, man, it's the wrong receipt. I was like, you got to be kidding me. The guy even told me it's fine.
So you had a bad Destiny experience before you even got the game.
I know. I had to go back to the end of the line, and I got there 30 minutes early to get a decent spot in line. I was so mad.
So mad. The Division coming out tomorrow.
It is.
It's been completely off my radar. I didn't play the beta. I didn't play the closed beta.
Yep.
I didn't play the open beta because I was out of town.
Yeah.
I don't think you played either.
I played the open beta.
Oh, did you?
I did not play the closed beta.
What did you think? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it?
Things I liked about it. The user interface is awesome.
Okay.
It is very streamlined.
Ooh.
And it's actually fun to use. I enjoyed it. I think it's a very intuitive design. Also, I like the idea of the main storyline and how each person individually has a home base that progresses as you go through the story. And so you do specific storyline missions and your home base, which is a disaster relief station essentially, it upgrades as you go through the main storyline, giving you access to more stuff.
Now you can use it in multiplayer?
That you can use it. I'm not sure about multiplayer. I didn't experience any multiplayer. I only did a couple single player stuff. I only played for one afternoon. So I played, and I also played a mission with my brother, the one who has listened to our podcast. And the combat was fun. It's not as action packed as I would say Destiny or Call of Duty is, because it's definitely a different type of shooter because it's cover based
and third person.
And it's third person, which the third person didn't really bother me at all.
Yeah.
The cover was cool. I think the cover could be really cool if you play with friends who know how to play, because you can get angles on people and cover people as they find new cover and kind of plan out your assaults, know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool.
Did you ever experience that, or are you just saying this could happen?
I played through one of the main storyline missions with my brother.
Oh yeah.
And we flanked the boss.
Ooh, get him!
And it was fun.
So the guy on top of a building on a roof?
Yes.
Okay.
It was the first... They only had, I think, 2 storyline missions available for the open beta, which they only had 1 for the closed beta. And so I only got to play one of them because I only played it for 2 hours. But it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's a very fast action-packed type of game.
Yeah.
Also because the fast travel seemed... Well, I feel like I had to run everywhere. I know there is some sort of fast travel, but I know it's not anywhere from anywhere.
Is it a grappling hook? I want a grappling hook.
I don't think there's a grappling hook.
Like a Batman grappling hook, not like a...
Yeah, no.
Like a...
Definitely not.
Castle invading.
Definitely not. But the customization of your character was really cool. The appearance. Because not only do you get to switch through armors, and those are all have different looks. You also have apparel that's separate from the armor that you wear underneath your armor or over your armor, whatever you want to do, which adds even more customization.
Customization.
There's so much appearance stuff, apparently, that I've read about and I've seen. It was really cool. So, overall, I'm excited for it, but I'm also... This isn't a game that I've been thinking about for months. It's one of those things where, the open beta's on this weekend. I got it an afternoon. Yeah. So I played a little bit, and I was impressed with what they had. But
you have no intention... You have no plans to buy it?
I'm not pre-ordering it. I might buy it depending on my friends, what they do. It depends.
I heard everyone's going to buy it. I just don't have...
My budget's pretty tight this month, so I don't know if I'm going to buy it this month. It'll take some coercing from my friend group to get me to buy it, which is Tony. You've already tried. I mean, you've suggested me
The Division?
Yeah,
I haven't played it at all.
Oh, I thought you said it's your turn earlier.
I don't remember.
Okay.
It's your turn. You buy it because I got Fire Emblem.
Dude,
I have the coverage on Fire Emblem. You need the coverage on Division, and then you can tell me if I need to buy it or not.
But I'm also covering Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection.
I've already done that,
dude. Can we talk about it for a second?
Yeah. Uncharted 3 is where you're at.
I'm on Uncharted 3.
Wait, I don't think the listeners.
Okay.
Uncharted 2 is where we last ended.
Okay, so the way I've been playing through the Nathan Drake Uncharted collection, got it for $30. Thought that was a great deal. All because Tony absolutely loves the series, and he convinced me finally to get it. So I did it.
True.
And as I've started to play it, I've not regretted it. It's only gotten better each game I've gone through.
What?
Naughty Dog, they're so good at storytelling, and I love the characters. Man, and that's what I love about The Last of Us, is their characters. Same thing here. So Uncharted 1 was good.
Yes.
But looking back, my least favorite so far.
Okay.
Uncharted 2, awesome villain. Oh my gosh, he's scary. Some awesome... Well, I feel like they had a little bit of tweaking on the mechanics that made it feel a little tighter in the game.
I remember specifically you can throw grenades differently.
Yeah. And it was,
you just aim down sights and throw them instead of arcing them.
It was... And you can do both. You don't have to do just one. So there's a few minor tweaks that I thought worked better. And there were more moments where I thought Drake was going to die in the second one. just platforming, going through the stuff. They've continued to do a lot of that stuff in 3. But I think the intro... I know the intro of 2 is good, but the intro of 3... Yeah. The intro of 3, I was like, oh my gosh.
When you're the kid?
Huh?
When you're the kid?
The kid was awesome. But the very first scene, as you boot up the game, Drake and Sully are in this sketchy thing. You have to fight all these brawlers in a bar, in a pub.
Oh, that's so sick.
I was like, what is happening?
And
he's trying to sell Drake's ring, and I was like, what?
Yeah, you feel like, what's happening?
I was like, he would never sell his ring. And then they go out into the alleyway, and they get shot. Yeah. And they both die. And I was like, what? I was like, is this going to be the same as 2 where it starts with the ending mission or not the ending mission, but it was going to be a big flashback?
I totally forgot about that.
Oh my gosh. I was like, I was devastated. I stopped playing for a second because I had to go. And so that's where I ended. I was like, oh my gosh, they died? And then it booted up.
Why would you start it and you had to leave?
I know, it was bad timing.
You're a bad gamer.
But then it was I booted back up and I was like, what's going to happen? And it was Kid Drake. And I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
And how we meet Sully, and I love Sully, and I love Drake. Yep. And they're doing all this sketchy stuff, and I'm like, this is perfect. I love this game.
It's very obvious how much of an age difference there is when he's younger than when they're older.
True.
Because I never thought Sully was that much older than Drake. But when Drake is younger, and Sully's 20 years older, dang. Yeah. The guy's old.
For sure. But man, I really like how they're expanding Drake and Sully's relationship in this game, because I think that's a really cool thing. I'm a little bit worried Elena's not in it yet, and she's been in all of them so far, and she's my favorite out of the girls in the show.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Where are you currently? Also, I've played Uncharted 1 and Uncharted 2 both twice.
Yeah.
I've played Uncharted 3 1.5 times.
Okay.
There were some scenes in Uncharted 3 where I had to suspend my disbelief more so than in Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 1.
Okay.
I'm like, this is just too difficult for me.
There were... I'm trying to think of what you're talking about.
Have you...
Spiders? Is that what you're talking about?
No. Have you been to there's a French castle?
I've been...
not a castle, but a mansion in the woods area. It's
I did that. I finished all that.
And the thing catches on fire?
Yeah.
That's sick.
That whole scene was crazy. And then the tower falls on the house again. Dude, I was freaking out.
I don't know.
Dude, action star again. Man, that conversation we had in the last episode. Yeah, so that happened. But then they got together and they were in Syria or something. Yeah. And they're at some... Castle Museum, that's right. I'm trying to find the crypt.
There's a hard, combat part of that.
Do you know which part? Because I did have some troubles with the game.
Have you beaten the Castle Museum yet?
I'm trying to think. I believe I just got the amulet, the second half of the amulet. That is something they're trying to find from the journals of whoever. Not Drake. Drake is mentioned in it, but it's...
Is it Marco Polo?
Marco Polo... No, that's in 2. This one is Lawrence of Arabia.
Lawrence of Arabia is what it is.
And somebody else. There's a second person, too.
Oh.
and they're kind of going off both of them. But Lawrence of Arabia right now is big because I'm in Syria, and he was like in Syria.
So have you left the Castle Museum?
I think what I did is I found what I'm looking for, and now I have to escape, and that's where I've stopped. And I'm at like 45% or 50%. I think I'm at 45% through the game.
Really?
Is currently the progress.
There's a part in the castle part where you're kind of by yourself, because if I remember correctly, you're not really by yourself in the game until like you're by yourself and you have to fight off all these guys like in a big old courtyard.
Yeah, I did that.
And I'm like, that was hard.
Yeah, that was difficult. And then I also had trouble where this one part where you get reunited with the whole team.
Yeah.
But off in the distance, all these dudes with RPGs spawn.
Shoot on you.
And you're like running and they're shooting at you.
Shoot on you is what I say.
Yeah. And occasionally there's like sniper rifles and I start sniping them. But the area of effect on those RPGs like
huge.
Is pretty big. So I was like hiding behind cover and they still killed me.
Yeah.
A couple times. So I had to redo it like twice. I was mad. But it was alright.
But you haven't left yet?
I believe I am trying to escape.
How do I phrase this? Has anyone gotten hurt?
Well, the British dude, the new character of the heroes.
Is that Cutter or is that from 2?
I think his name is Cutter.
Okay.
British dude.
Oh, that would be because Jeff was from.
Yeah, Jeff. Yeah. Poor Jeff.
Yeah. How did he die?
He got shot.
By Lazarevich, right?
Yeah.
On top of the hotel?
Well, he got shot once, and then we tried to escape with him, and then we got caught by Lazarevich, and he just straight up
time
shot
out.
him.
We're going back to 2 for a second.
Okay.
Remember when you had the dagger in 2? And you had to go into this underground crypt, and there was a giant dagger, and you had to climb up the dagger?
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
I remember that as being like one of the things where I'm like, Drake's gonna fall and die.
Yeah.
Because you're like 200 feet in the air.
Yeah, and one of it like breaks at different parts.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm like, oh, I'm so nervous. I'm nervous thinking about it right now. I love the visuals in Uncharted.
Yeah.
And the way it makes you feel.
Yeah. I mean, the level design is impeccable. All the artistic additions that I love. I actually have gone through all the concept art because you unlock it as you go through the game.
Yeah.
And when I'm done, I'm usually like pretty emotional because the endings have been pretty good. And so I just like because I don't want it to be over yet. I go through all the concept art, and I've really enjoyed like seeing how their concept art actually turns into the game.
Yeah.
Because it's just like so well done.
Yep.
And partly it's due to it being on rails. It's not an open world, so they have more time to devote to the development. You know, there's only a couple paths you can take, and a lot of times it's one. So, they do it really
detract
well.
from the game?
I don't think it really does in this case because they make it so well. They make it look so nice.
There are 2 big set pieces, like actual settings.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what? Not there's more than 2, but I remember distinctly 2.
Well, I know I was in like a Templar tomb or something, and it showed stars in France, in Syria, and then like somewhere else. I can't remember if it was Saudi Arabia or something. I can't remember.
Do you want to know what these set pieces are, or do you want to just play it and find out?
I just kind of want to
They're not really spoilers. They're 2 things I want to talk about, but we'll talk about them later.
Okay.
Just play the game, we'll talk about it.
Dude, I'm so excited though. I love 3 so far just because the intro was so good and I love the theme of like Sully and Drake.
And the fight in the bar was awesome.
Dude, that was a great way to start the game.
I'm pretty sure Drake like smashes someone's head against the bar.
Because in this one they added some like countering and some grabbing in the melee combat. Again,
and like cinematic stuff too.
Yeah, but
like
you can like use
does a cutscene.
Yeah, you can like use the terrain a lot more in melee combat, which is really cool. Like you can bust people's heads against walls or like
which is what they did in The Last of Us.
Yeah. Which is a lot of fun.
Which, I mean, came after Uncharted 3.
Which makes sense now.
But you played Last of Us first.
Yeah. So I've really been enjoying it.
Now that you've played Uncharted, do you see any similarities between gameplay and The Last of Us?
Yes.
Between Uncharted?
I can see a lot of similarities. In the third-person shooting aspect, I can see how similar they are. I mean, in terms of mechanics,
I feel like
essentially the same
Uncharted
thing.
is still like a faster shooter.
I mean, it's more, yeah.
Well, you can run a gun in Uncharted. I don't think you can do that in Last of Us. Not that you would, because it's a stealth game.
Right. Well, it's stealth and it's like zombie apocalypse, so you're trying to save ammo as much as possible. So yeah, it's definitely different because there's so much ammo everywhere in Uncharted, and you can always just switch guns. But in Last of Us, you're trying to save ammo, and you're trying to like use your kits to try and make melee weapons and like save ammo wherever you can, save resources always. So
yeah, I'm excited for you to play more.
Dude, I want The Last of Us 2 to come out.
I like talking about it.
Naughty Dog.
What? Uncharted 4 first.
Dude, it will come out first and I will play it first.
Actually, I don't know if they have a Last of Us 2 lined up. If they do,
I heard a rumor that it's planned.
But I don't think it's going to be Joel and Ellie.
You don't think
is
so?
what I heard. Which is unfortunate because the way it ended.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for The Last of Us, he lied to her. And I want to know where that goes.
I know. They left it so open.
Because, I mean, but that's conflict that...
But that's like it's like the end of Inception. Have you seen the Inception?
Yes, I've seen Inception.
The top spinning.
Yeah.
It's the same type of ending. It's like unresolved.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, different type of unresolved.
But it's a good, because it kind of meshes with the feeling of the game, or you're kind of like an uneasy feeling.
Right. Well, and it's just like, what's your priority, right? Like, Joel's priority, what is it?
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because, like, the whole game is, like, really his relationship with Ellie changing until the very end when he kind of sees her as a daughter.
Yeah.
And then he's like, she's my number one priority. What she needs is what we're going to do, even if it means lying to her.
Mm-hmm.
I love it! The Last of Us! It's my favorite game!
Back to the news. Iron Fist.
Passion.
Marvel hero, Iron Fist, Danny Rand, is going to show up in episode 13 of Luke Cage. We know this because it's already been filmed. He's already been on set.
Mm-hmm.
Luke Cage has not been set for a release date yet.
Okay.
But they have filmed the Iron Fist showing up, which will be then segue into the Iron Fist show. Then eventually the Defenders, which is Luke Cage, Daredevil, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones. That's a person.
Jessica Jones.
Overwatch?
Overwatch, yeah. So Blizzard is coming out with a first-person / I think you can go in third-person shooter called Overwatch, which is supposed to be like an arena shooter type game with lots of different characters with very special abilities.
They had a beta a long time ago.
Yeah, they did. This game has been in development for a long time.
Well, people are still playing it still on Twitch right now.
Yeah, I mean I think you can still play. There are certain. Well, I don't know if it's still open beta on the PC, but there was a while where like anybody could play on the PC.
Yeah.
Earlier in the year, but this is Blizzard's foray into a shooter, which they've not made one yet. They've made MMO super successful. They've had RTSs that have been super successful. I mean the card game,
training card game,
Hearthstone. I would say successful.
Yeah.
And they've started a what's LOL like? What was that called? I can't remember. A click RPG thing.
What?
League of Legends. What type of game is that? I forget.
I'm just calling it.
There's like a term for it.
I don't play it.
There's a term for it. They have their own version of that. So this is their foray into a shooter. It comes out on May 24th. But if you're interested in trying the open beta, it is May 5th through the 9th. And that comes out on both consoles and PC. So if you're interested, put that on your calendar.
You mean PS4 and Wii U?
Wii Nexus? I'm just kidding. It's not out yet. It's Xbox One, PS4, PC. So all of you guys out there, if you're interested, there's the beta date. May 5th through the 9th. I would say check it out, see if you like it, and if you do, buy the game. Because Blizzard so far has not disappointed me. Well, WoW disappointed me, but that's because I played Eve, and Eve ruins all MMOs after you play it. Which is a whole other conversation.
You want to talk about the Ghostbusters?
Our last thing, a little bit of a controversy going on
news
in the media. Our last thing of news. Ghostbusters released a trailer, and this time around, it is a cast of all leads being females. And the first experience I had with this was a tweet.
No. Okay. I went.
I saw this tweet. I think it was like 4 days ago, and it was from the Washington Post. It was an article saying that the internet hates Ghostbusters because it's women. And then it like tweeted, or it like had in quotes a bunch of YouTube comments, which you already know is a terrible decision because YouTube comments are the worst.
That's true.
It is a black hole. You never go there on the internet unless you want an hour of your time being sucked away by pointless comments and conversations. So, either way, it has a lot of controversy, and the article said, like, oh, way more dislikes than likes. And I was like, that's a little weird, because even really bad stuff usually gets a lot of likes.
Yep.
So Tony and I were like, So we watched it.
Let's check it out.
So we watched the trailer. Generally, we don't understand why people hate it so much.
Yeah. I don't like Ghostbusters that much to begin with. Maybe that's why I don't mind this trailer.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen them. I've seen the first one, I know. Maybe I've seen the second one. I'm not emotionally attached to it.
You're not?
They can remake it all they want. I don't care.
Yeah, see, and that's... I've watched all of them multiple times. Like, we had them as, like, a family. Like,
on VHS?
No, we had it on DVD. So I watched it a couple times. It wasn't some like a series I feel like super connected to either.
Yeah.
Like Star Wars, I feel really connected to. Lord of the Rings, feel connected to. Oof. Ghostbusters, not so much, but it's a classic. So I'm not really the female cast. I actually chuckled a couple times. I thought some stuff was funny. Yep. I only recognized one of the cast members who's on SNL all the time. Mm-hmm. I can't remember her name, man, but she's always really funny. So I'm like, my general impression is that it will probably be good. I'm probably not going to see it when it comes out in theaters, but I'll probably like Redbox it or watch it on Netflix or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not like one I'm super excited for, so I don't understand the controversy.
I'm not even when I look back on the original Ghostbusters, I'm just like, that's not that good. I'm not the biggest Bill Murray fan.
Okay. See, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you like Bill Murray, that movie's awesome. I love it. And Dan Aykroyd.
I don't dislike Bill Murray, I guess. I'm just not like goo for Bill Murray like some people.
You're not like the whole put the sticker on the back of your car Bill Murray thing?
Yes.
Have you seen people with that?
I don't think so.
I've definitely seen at least 5 or 6 cars with Bill Murray's face as a sticker on the back.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's so funny. Either way, so there's some controversy. Check out the trailer and tell us what you think.
It is currently March the 7th.
Yes.
Next Friday, March 18th. Remind me what comes out.
March 19th.
18th. You want a hint? Daredevil Season 2.
Daredevil Season 2 comes out! We talked about this last week!
So,
oh my gosh.
Our next episode, I guess we won't have time to review it, so it'll be 2 episodes. We'll review Season 2, I guess. Or maybe not review it, but
by the end of the month, we will have an episode.
There you go.
That reviews Daredevil Season 2.
That's right.
So
but I just finished Daredevil Season 1 for the second time.
Yep.
I rewatched it just for funsies. Mm-hmm. I needed something to watch. And I have some new thoughts. I think we've already done an episode on Daredevil Season 1.
Yep.
I have some more thoughts.
One of our first ones.
And some concerns and some hopes for Season 2.
Yep.
I wanted to go over with you.
Okay. Talk to me.
First season, there's 2 women that Daredevil / Matt Murdock / Charlie Cox was interested in.
Yep.
Both Claire and Karen.
So
Claire's the nurse.
Okay, I was going to say, which one's the nurse?
Claire's the nurse. Okay. Karen is their
secretary.
Secretary.
Right? Yeah.
And you don't really... Like, Karen and Foggy are all about each other.
Yeah.
Well, Foggy's all about Karen.
I love Foggy, first off. He's my favorite.
I don't know why.
He's my favorite supporting character.
And then, at the end of the season, like, Daredevil and Matt Murdock and Karen have, like, a scene, right at the last scene in the season. I'm like, something gonna happen next season? Which is gonna be a little... Like, this is what I'm concerned about.
Okay.
Because in the next season, we already know there's gonna be Elektra. So there's gonna be Claire, Karen, and Elektra. There's gonna be 3 women.
Okay.
I was like, I hope this isn't like a love quadrilateral.
So you're worried that the story's gonna revolve around him liking these 3 women?
Yeah, like him having like a romantic interest. Like, just give him Claire, the nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Totally cool with that.
Yeah.
Karen can do her own thing with Foggy.
Claire's cool.
Elektra can be a whatever.
A heroine. Not. I said heroine. A female hero.
There you go.
Who fights injustice.
Yeah. I mean, I would accept like if Elektra comes between like Claire and Daredevil and Matt Murdock, but like I just don't want 3 of them. Like it was like literally the last scene, and I'm like, what just happened between Matt and Karen? And like that, it makes me concerned.
Yeah, I haven't rewatched the entire season. I've watched I think the first 2 episodes again since I watched it the one time through, which was in like 2 days, like one or 2 days. I watched it all. I was all about it
when it first came out, right?
Yeah. I hope so. First off,
last year,
I've seen some pictures of the new outfit.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where that takes it. I actually thought it looked all right.
I'm not a fan of his outfit. I really like the black spandex and the black mask.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't know. I understand what they're doing with it. They're trying to like make him more into the superhero.
Yeah, he just
away.
Looks so corny.
I mean, it happens. I mean, Captain America, corny. It happens.
Yeah, but when you go into Captain America movie, you're already like, this is gonna be corny.
He's the golden.
There's
boy.
a musical
right
in the movie, but
there's a montage.
Daredevil is dark almost throughout the whole movie,
throughout
the whole series. Then right at the end, it's like, look how cartoony I can be. Kind of.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm excited. I want some more action. I know that seems probably weird, but
really,
I feel like a lot of the first season, at least the beginning of the first season.
The second episode was an awesome hallway fight.
There was a really cool fight. They said
there's going to be another one in season 2, like the hallway fight, but on steroids. Dude, I think it's almost a direct quote.
I'm so excited then.
I'm excited.
Because I want that. I love Daredevil fighting. Like, that's like his thing. Because I love... Oh, man, his power is so cool. He's definitely, like, not as powerful as a lot of characters, but his powers, like, you gotta respect it.
In the MCU, not the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but, like, in the Marvel Universe, he's up there.
Really?
Yeah.
What, does he have, like, super strength? Because I don't see how he could compete with, like...
I don't think he has... I don't think he has just, like, normal strength.
I know he has super senses.
But, like, Captain America doesn't have superhuman strength either. He has the peak.
Wait, I thought he did.
No, Captain America has the peak of the human physique.
Okay.
He's, like, Olympic level at everything.
Okay.
Is what he is.
Interesting.
I assume Daryl is probably pretty close. Spider-Man's above that. Iron Man is not, obviously. Although his suit...
Well, with the suit, he would be, probably, but...
Obviously, the Hulk doesn't compare.
Yeah, Hulk's in a different class.
And
He's
Thor
in his own
doesn't
class.
compare, really.
Right. He's a Norse god. That's what they do.
But Captain America would be stronger than Batman.
True. Unless Batman has some, like, crazy gadgets, like his power suit or something.
Yeah. I think Daredevil will probably be stronger than Batman. Daredevil has powers. Batman does not, if we're comparing.
Okay.
Because
see, I don't have a lot of experience with comics, so
Daredevil got the goose on his eye.
Right, and I know that's why he went blind.
He has ninja training, and Batman has ninja training, but
that'd be an interesting fight, Daredevil versus Batman.
They're almost the same character anyway.
I mean, a lot of their story kind of matches up to an extent, somewhat, right? The dark beginnings, kind of.
When I was watching the season 1, it was interesting because there's a guy at work I just convinced to watch season 1. He hasn't watched it yet. Like season 2's coming out, just watch season 1. Talked about it today. And he was on season 1 or episode like 1 when I first told him.
Yeah.
Today, and that was 2 days ago. Today he was on like the second to last episode. I'm like, so you like it?
That's
He's like,
progress.
I think you're onto something. I'm telling you, it's good.
It is good.
But things I didn't notice the first time, like Kingpin is like super emotional. Like I always thought he was like this huge like super strong villain.
Yeah.
And then now that I rewatch it and I'm like,
he's kind of sensitive.
He's just kind of sensitive and kind of annoying, and he just
gets angry.
Yeah.
He feels like he's slighted all the time. He gets real emotional.
Yeah.
And he just gets angry.
He's not that good of a villain, now that I remember.
I feel like they humanized him in the show.
Yeah.
If
but
that makes sense.
This is also their first crack at it.
Yeah.
And I still think it's very good. But just rewatching it, I was like...
I think he's a good first season villain.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't think they need to have his biggest, baddest villain in the first season. So I thought they did a good choice with that character and how they portrayed him. Because it makes sense for the development of this character for it to be like some mob boss or something.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I feel like comic book movies have like the main villain in the first movie, and then it's like, what's the point of the next one? You know, like if you like, what's an example? I'm trying to think of an example.
Spider-Man,
like the Green Goblin, right? Like that's quintessential.
Yeah.
Thor, I guess it's Loki in the first one.
I don't know a lot about Thor. Hulk had the Abomination in like both of his movies.
So it's like, I don't know. I understand.
Captain America had Red Skull.
Yeah, and in the first movie.
Thor or Iron Man. Here's a question off topic. What is your favorite Iron Man villain that has not been on film yet?
That's a hard question. Well, I didn't feel like they did the Mandarin justice. They like made him like a weird character. That's not what he was in the comics,
right?
Which I've read actually some of those comics.
He had the Rings of Power, or whatever it is.
Yeah. That's kind of hard for you to spring on me because I wasn't prepared for.
I'll let you think about it.
Because I was thinking like Extremist, but that's like himself.
More thoughts of me. I'll let you think about it.
Okay.
A concern I have for season 2 is we know that there's going to be a Punisher in it. We know there's going to be Elektra in it. True. I really hope they don't just break it right down the middle. So like first half is Punisher, second half is Elektra.
You hope there's some mixture there?
Yeah. I hope it's not just like the first half, like, okay, if there's 12 episodes, I don't want the first 5 episodes to be all Punisher. The next 6 episodes to be all Elektra. Then the last episode they just kind of combine together. It would be nice if they either went back and forth or they just kind of showed up and went away, or the Punisher is someone that he's chasing down the whole season, and he's trying to get the help of Elektra, and they show up all the different times. That's literally my biggest concern is that I just don't want them split up like that. Because it'll just make the season last longer, I think. However, I am pretty happy because Marvel has more experience in TV shows now, as opposed to when Daredevil season 1 just came out. They have experience with Daredevil. They have experience with Jessica Jones. So season 2, I hope, will be better. There's going to be a return of Stick, who is his mentor person. I've already seen him come back. There's going to be another villain, at least. In the trailer, you see a guy like in a ninja outfit, and he takes his mask off. You see it from the back. So there's some speculation about who he is, but there's someone that we don't know yet. So those are my thoughts for Daredevil Season 2.
Well, I agree with what you said about...
Did you just Google best Iron Man villains?
Yeah, I had to remind myself. I've only read some of the comics, and most of them, like, his enemy is like... Well, I've read multiple ones about the Mandarin. I read the first, like, 10 original comics, which have some really unique villains that are definitely, like, 60s.
Yeah.
Who probably wouldn't be very good unless they, like, completely reimagine them.
Right.
Like, there's one with, like, the freeze ray or something they used to fight that's, like, classic.
Captain Cold. That's DC.
I would say there's a character I came across called the Controller who has like some mind control powers.
Ooh.
He would be interesting.
Purple Man?
What?
Purple Man?
Purple Man?
Jessica Jones?
Oh, sort of like that to an extent. More technological. And a lot of Iron Man's villains are also like technical abominations. They're essentially like anti-Iron Mans that are like I've seen villains that have stolen a suit before, made their own versions that he's fight, like Ironmonger, obviously in the first episode or in the first movie, he's in there. But there's a few other ones too.
Is there ever a villain that's like half machine, half human?
Like Cyborg?
Yeah, but for Iron Man.
For Iron Man, I believe there's a villain. Again, I don't have a whole lot of experience in the comics, so I've got like 3 or 4 graphic novels. And I have like the first 10 Iron Man comics. That's pretty much it. So, to answer your question, I don't have enough information because
He's your favorite.
I'm a noob.
He's your favorite,
dude. He's my favorite, but that doesn't mean that I follow it very.
Is he your
closely.
favorite because of the movies?
No, he's my favorite because when I was a kid, they had this Iron Man cartoon that I used to watch all the time, and thought it was awesome.
You don't remember any of the villains from there?
Nope, it was a long time ago.
I just started watching Ultimate Spider-Man.
Ooh,
which. There's 3 seasons.
That's fun.
Only the 3rd season is on Netflix, so I had to watch the first 2 somewhere else. It's like a kids' TV show.
Yeah.
But it's pretty entertaining. So far, I've seen like 4 episodes, I think. And it's essentially, in the first episode, Nick Fury's like, listen, I need you to come onto S.H.I.E.L.D. and train these other people. Essentially, it's the Defenders.
Yep.
It's Luke Cage, who is Power Man in this.
Mm-hmm.
It's Danny Rand as the Iron Fist. There's White Tiger.
Yep.
And there's Nova. So
nice.
They're kind of a team.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man's kind of the leader because Spider-Man's been heroing for longer.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So he's kind of like Spider-Man's like showing them how to be better superheroes, and they're kind of showing him how to work together as a team. Yep. So far, they've already fought Doctor Doom, like 3rd episode, and Venom in the 4th episode.
Dang.
They're hitting it hard.
That's crazy.
I saw that the very first episode of season 3 is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in it. So
Guardians of the Galaxy, I love it. Thinking again on the few graphic novels I've read about Iron Man, there's a thing called Extremis, which is essentially like the advanced form of a suit where he actually like melds with the suit to an extent. So like he has a lot of like
Doc Ock.
Essentially, sort of, I suppose. He has like this it's the suit he wears underneath everything else that's actually on his skin. Like he molds with his skin. So contact points, and it like essentially connects him to the suit all the time. And there's some problems with it. It like genetically modifies him a little bit to make him more powerful. And then so like essentially what happens is eventually these other like this terrorist group gets a hold of this extremist stuff, and they like modify it to make their bodies overheat and essentially explode in pure energy.
Yeah, so that was Iron Man 3.
Yeah, essentially. They took it in Iron Man 3 and like changed it a little bit. So that was like the enemy that I really enjoyed. But they kind of took that in nerdy.
So do you think they put all the best Iron Man villains in the movies?
Yeah, I just wish they would have done the Mandarin justice again. Like that, they could have done that better. He's like one of the top villains.
Yeah.
For Iron Man that I can think of. So that's
interesting.
It. I'm such a noob. That's all right though. So you bought a game.
I bought a game. Fire Emblem Fates.
And this
Conquest.
Is now let's give us some context.
Conquest. Some people thought about Birthright. It's Conquest. It is Conquest.
I thought you were going to do Birthright. That's what I thought. I thought you wanted me to do Conquest. Our first conversation, I thought you said, you do Conquest, I'll do Birthright.
Listen, I was confused about which one was which.
Okay.
I always knew I wanted Conquest, because I always knew it was harder. But I thought Conquest was with the
Samurais?
Japanese family.
Yeah.
And Birthright was with the European families. They are flipped. Conquest is European.
Yes.
Birthright is Japanese.
So, before we get started, tell us your experience with Fire Emblem to this point of buying Fates.
I started with, I think, the first Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance. I think it was just called Fire Emblem. It's not the very first Fire Emblem game. It's like the fourth one or something like that. And then it was on a camping trip. The same camping trip, another guy had Sacred Stones, which is my favorite Fire Emblem.
Okay.
Which is, again, for the Game Boy Advance. I played Sacred Stones, I beat it like twice, and once on an emulator. So I beat it like 3 times. Has my 2 favorite Fire Emblem characters of all time. Ross, who is a villager in like the 3rd episode. Yeah. The 3rd chapter.
Who becomes uber powerful.
You can like recruit him, and then he's an axe user. He uses a hatchet, and he's an axe user, and then he goes, once he hits level 10 from the villager, you can choose to make him a pirate or a fighter. I always make him a fighter, and then after you make him a fighter, you can make like a warrior or a berserker, and a berserker is legit because it's like the Hulk with an axe.
Nice.
So he's just ripped. He has like a loincloth on.
Nice.
And he's like 8 feet tall.
He's like a barbarian Hulk.
And by the time I got to the end of the game, he had like 70 health. He's just one-shotting everything. Yeah. When I got to the final boss, I only used Ross.
There you go.
Also, my second favorite character is Joshua, who is a swordsmaster. Okay. Well, he's a sword user when you first get him in like the 3rd chapter. Yeah. And then you can eventually increase him to a swordsmaster. Okay. Which is awesome because he has robes and his critical. Because every once in a while in Fire Emblem you get criticals and they have special animations. Yeah. His is like he like multiplies himself like 9 times and hits the enemy like.
If I remember right, like swordmasters have a higher rate of critical than
they have like high speed and high skill, which goes to a critical. Yeah. So I love him so much.
That's so cool.
Then I bought Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon for the DS. That's the worst Fire Emblem game I've ever played. I haven't gotten more than like 6 levels into it. You had a friend that also bought Shadow Dragon who confirmed that I did not like it because he said he didn't like it.
Really? Yes. Shadow Dragon? Mm-hmm. Interesting. I've not played that one.
Then I got Fire Emblem Awakening, which is the first one for the 3DS, which was like the highest grossing Fire Emblem game.
I enjoyed it.
I think of all
time. I had that one.
Mm-hmm. I played that a lot. Enjoyed it a lot. I haven't beat it.
I haven't either. I got really far though. I probably put like 30 hours into it, which is the most I've ever put into a Fire Emblem game.
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun. There's some really good characters in there. I also have Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, I think, is for the Wii. That's what I have.
Wii or the GameCube?
For the Wii. Path of Radiance is for the GameCube, which is part 1, and then Radiant Dawn is a part 2 of the story. Okay. Me and Emily found Radiant Dawn at a game exchange for like $65.
Oh my goodness.
So we bought it because we both love Fire Emblem, and we just really haven't played it yet. We didn't realize that it was a continuation of part 1. Okay. I thought it was just like a second. So like when you first get it, like all the characters are like super powerful. I'm like, I don't like this. Yeah. Like I feel too strong. Now I have Fire Emblem Fates, semicolon, Conquest.
Here it is. So what are your thoughts?
So far,
initial impressions.
I literally just beat Chapter 10 today.
Okay, so you've got like a little bit of experience.
I have a little bit, not a lot, because there's probably like 30 or 40 chapters. Yeah. I haven't had a lot of time to play it. But I also got it like 2 weeks late because of Amazon. Yeah. Not technically.
But you've had a taste.
Yes. There's a difference in the games. I'm going to talk about that.
Talk about the differences.
Fire Emblem Conquest, like I said, is a European family. It's a little bit harder. But to begin with, Fire Emblem is a strategy game. Turn-based strategy game. Tactics. When a character dies in the episode, and you complete the episode, that character is dead forever. However, in Fates, they give you the option of playing the classic mode, which is they're dead forever, or they give you the option of when they die, they respawn at the end of the episode.
Right. So you don't actually lose them forever. Yeah. Is there a penalty if they die? Do they like not get experience that game?
I don't know. I chose classic. Okay. If someone dies, they're dead for good. Because that's how I get emotionally attached to my characters.
Right, and I will restart a chapter. I mean, I used to always restart a chapter if they died.
Unless it's like the final boss and they die and like you've tried so hard. Yeah. And they're just like, I feel so bad, but I have to go on. Like you died for a good cause. I'm sorry.
It was a sacrifice I was willing to make.
Right. So Conquest is supposed to be harder. There's 3 different levels of difficulty. There's casual, veteran, and like lunatic. Yeah. And everything I've read says that all the difficulties are just super hard. And I've experienced that. I'm playing on casual on Conquest. I'm playing the classic mode, so when people die, they die. Yeah. And I've had to replay levels just because I lost, just because I guess I'm not familiar with it yet. Yeah. But Birthright is more of a standard Fire Emblem game, which is essentially kill all the enemies or seize the throne. Yeah. Conquest is more of a there's kill all the enemies, seize the throne type things, but there's also Chapter 10 specifically is
like defend or something.
Defend for 11 turns.
Oh, wow.
Which I did. Yeah. And normally in past Fire Emblem games, you have the option of defend for 11 turns or kill everybody. Normally I just spread out and kill everybody. Yeah. This one I actually had to defend. I'm like, I can't go that far. Like I can't spread myself that thin. I'll die.
How did it go?
It took me a few times. It took me like 2 days to beat it, but I've barely been able to play it.
Yeah.
There's a big difference in the families, which is nice. The Europeans are very like ruthless. Like their king is like a ruthless king.
Okay.
There's like brothers and sisters, and they're not too bad. They're pretty friendly. They definitely love the main character. Essentially, the main character, you learn this in the prologue. The main character was born to the family, the birthright family, which is Hoshido, the Japanese family, and then he was kidnapped by the European family, the Nor family, the Nor kingdom, and then he was raised Norian. So he refers to himself as a Nor prince.
Yeah.
Or a Nor prince. He's not the oldest. And then after like the 5th prologue level, you get a choice, which is already made for you depending on what game you bought. Going with the Nor family or going with the Hoshido family.
Okay.
Everyone on both families loves you to death, except for one guy on the Hoshido family. His name is Takume, I think.
He hates you.
And he's like, "Yo, Captain Falcon, you're a real D-bag." I named my guy Captain Falcon.
Nice.
Anyways.
I remember that. You remember that Snapchat?
Yeah.
I think you sent me a Snapchat of that.
So my main character in Fire Emblem is Captain Falcon, which is awesome. He's like, "Yo, Captain Falcon, you're a real D-bag."
He's really branching out into the game franchise.
He really is. He's like the only person that doesn't like you in the whole game. Like the king of Nor doesn't like you. The and Takume of Hoshido doesn't like you, but literally everybody else does, which is so weird. And the very first episode, the very first episode after the choice of whether to go with Nor or go with Hoshido, you have to fight the other people.
Okay.
And I just felt so bad.
Like betraying everybody?
As Nor, like the way it sets it up is like, it kind of, in the very beginning, it's like, you're supposed to choose Hoshido. You're supposed to be the prince of Hoshido, as is your birthright.
Yeah. Makes sense within the title.
Right?
Dude,
so then you turn your back on them for conquest, and you immediately fight them. And you fight them throughout the whole game, so far as I've experienced.
Yeah.
And I just feel bad every time I fight them. I'm like,
a
lot of times it's unprovoked attacks. A lot of time it's the conquest people attacking the Hoshidos.
Okay.
So it's not defensive. It's just I'm attacking them, and I feel super bad about it.
Right, because, I mean, the name is Conquest, so I'm assuming that there's, like, conquering going on.
Right. So they said that conquest is supposed to be more of, like, a morally gray type thing.
Yeah.
Like, type feeling when you play it, and I've definitely noticed that. Like, I feel bad.
You don't feel on the right?
No. Not at all. Not yet. They've said that the story isn't so black and white once you get to the end, and some things are going to switch, and there's...
Yeah.
And there's a...
Kind of like atrocities on both sides.
Yeah, kind of. Something like that. But my main character, who is raised Norian, who is like a ruthless kingdom, is super nice. I'm like, what is happening here? So one of the missions, you have to attack a tribe, and in Fire Emblem, this is the first time I've ever seen it. Like, instead of killing everybody, you're like knocking them out. So you attack the tribe, and then the tribe leader's like, "Hey, I saw you didn't kill anybody.
Hey, thanks, man.
Thanks." I'm like, yeah.
Fire Emblem.
Yeah, and he's just like, he's super nice, which is super weird because everyone on Nor is like ruthless.
Yeah.
Like, my family is nice, my family loves me, but they'll go and kill anybody.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, they have loyalty to the family, but nothing else.
And that makes so much more sense from Hoshido's side, and I think I'm going to get Birthright.
Yeah.
But
there's a third path, right?
The Revelation, which is where you don't choose either kingdom.
And you kind of, like, go into exile, essentially?
I don't know. I don't think it's out yet. I'm pretty sure it's not
DLC
out yet.
later?
Kind of. I think it's either going to be DLC or there's actually going to be a physical copy.
I also heard there's, like, day one DLC. Was there DLC?
There's DLC.
Besides the other path.
Yeah, you can buy a level. I think it's called Dragon's Den for, like, $1.99, $2.99, something like that.
Okay.
I'm not about it. I'm not going to do that. But as I've been playing, Emily has experience with Fire Emblem too.
Okay.
So she's been watching me, and...
For those of you who don't know, Emily is Tony's wife.
That's correct.
Who's been a star on the show before.
That's right. There's audio, like, messages now in the game to where it's not just music, it's whenever the character attacks, it says something. Whenever you choose a character, it says something.
Oh, so there's like a catchphrase?
Yeah. Every once in a while. Yeah. And it adds to the personality of the game. And adds to the personality of the characters. And like I said before, I already become emotionally attached to these characters.
Yeah.
So she's watching and she's laughing because some of them are just really funny. And she's like, man, I really want to play Fire Emblem now. And she's borrowed my Sacred Stones. And we, a lot of time, will like lay in bed before we go to sleep and just play Fire Emblem for a little bit.
Dude.
And she's on the last level of Sacred Stones
Oh my gosh, Sacred Stones.
So as soon as she beats that, she's going to start playing Awakening, is what she's told me. Nice. But we only have one 3DS. She won't let me buy another one.
No.
So she's going to have to play it when I'm at work or
that
something
sounds like conflict between you two. I think the best way to fix this issue in your marriage is to just buy a second 3DS.
You should give me your 3DS
no, dude.
to borrow.
No, dude.
You're not going to play Fire Emblem?
I haven't even beaten Awakening yet.
You're not going to.
Dude, I actually
100%.
thought about pulling it out.
100% you're not going to.
I at least thought about it once.
Anyway, she wants, as I've talked about, Conquest is hard. I'm trying to convince her that we need to buy Birthright. Because one, I want to play Birthright.
Yeah.
Because it's different. Mm-hmm. And two, it's a different story.
I will say, I was
it's easier.
The grocery store. I was at Meijer yesterday.
Yeah.
Again. And I was like, man. I of course, every time you go grocery shopping, you got to walk through electronics.
Right.
So
I go shopping at Kroger, so there's not electronics.
Dang.
So this is probably just a personal thing.
Okay, this is definitely a personal thing then. Every time I go to Meijer, specifically to grocery shop, I always walk through electronics.
Do you go electronics first, then groceries, or groceries and electronics?
I usually go, so the way that one's set up, I go like home goods first, or like bathroom goods and stuff, and then that's on one side. Then in the middle, there's electronics, so then I pass the middle to go to the grocery side. So I stop by electronics, and then I go to groceries. So I did eyeball it, and I was like, man. And I touched it, and I looked at the back. I read the back. I was like, oh my gosh, I could buy this right now. Then I thought, oh wait, I just paid taxes, and I owed this year.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I can't do it. Maybe next month, though.
The DLC, you can buy the game. You can buy like the physical copy of the game for like $30, $40. I think
it's $40.
Or you can buy the DLC for like $10 cheaper.
Okay.
But you have to save it onto your DS. I don't necessarily like to buy digital copies. I like to have physical copies.
I do too. For lots of reasons. Really, resale. You can resell it.
That's not one of my reasons.
That's one of my reasons.
I just like to look at them.
Not that I often...
I have a good collection.
You do have a good collection. I actually don't sell games very often. I just like the idea of being able to sell games and also let people borrow games.
Borrowing is fun.
So I like physical discs.
Yeah.
And in this case, cartridges. So, but either way, can you give me a preliminary feeling?
No, I love it.
Can you give me a grade, or do we want to do like compare it to food, or like?
I literally have only played the 10th chapter, but I love it.
You love it?
It's definitely more difficult than any Fire Emblem I played before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to play Birthright because I was told, as in Awakening, you can like grind on certain like levels.
Mm-hmm.
There's no grinding in Conquest.
Okay.
So sometimes it's a little hard. There's master seals in Fire Emblem that promotes a class from a certain class to a raised up class.
Right, like an upper tier.
Yeah. Now there's like 3 other seals that go with it. So there's a second seal, which is kind of old, which just changes from one class to another class.
Yeah,
but it doesn't
complete
promote
change.
Yeah, it doesn't promote it.
Yeah.
There's like a friendship seal now, to where if your support level is high enough with someone, you can change to their class, which is weird.
Yeah.
And there's like a heart seal, where if you're married to somebody, you can change to their class. Like,
okay.
I'm probably never gonna use either one of those.
Yeah.
There's a villager, which I always love. In Fire Emblem Awakening, there's a villager called Donald.
Dude, he's awesome.
He's great.
There's
a villager called Mozu in Conquest. I do not like her.
Really?
Yes, because
I always feel like the villagers always start so hard. It's so hard to level them up in the beginning, but then once you do, they're so powerful.
But she doesn't.
Like every game.
She doesn't automatically increase. She doesn't automatically like promote herself.
Really?
You have to use something on her to promote herself. I didn't get a master seal until now, level 10, chapter 10. But you have like a partner seal or whatever it is you can use on her, a friendship seal.
Yeah. And
it only gives you one class option. And she goes from a sword lance type thing user to an archer.
It's like a pretty weird change.
And everyone says that. Everyone on the forums is like, she's the best archer I've ever seen. She just rains death on people. I'm like, I don't like using archers. I like to be up close, especially with my villagers, specifically Ross.
Yeah.
I like to be up close and personal.
So you feel like you've been putting on the old Ross feelings onto her, and it's just not been fitting?
She can't compare.
Dang.
Women, man.
Dang. Well, I kind of like archers. Do
you use them?
I usually get pretty attached to my archers.
Really?
Because usually what I'll do is I'll get some real thick knight, and then I'll park him somewhere, and then everybody will be like bottlenecked on him, and then my archers will just like pick off
and
everybody.
that works. But I always move forward, and you can only kill the archers can only kill like one person a turn.
True.
Right? When they get counterattacked, no one ever counterattacks them to where they can.
Right, unless it's a magic user, another archer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with
not often.
With Ross.
Yeah.
With any melee user, my main character in this last chapter like got attacked by like 5 guys at once. Slayed them all out. No contest. Right? Archer can't do that. Archer can kill 2 people pretty much maximum. Like, they're good against flyers.
Mm-hmm.
But
they're critical. So, I mean, it sounds like in your play style, not very useful. I like it,
I guess
but
so. I have an Archer. There's
personal
an Archer,
preference.
There's an Archer with an eye patch I think is really cool.
That's
His name
cool.
is Niles.
Is he like a pirate? He has an eye patch.
Nah, not really. I mean, he has an eye patch.
Is he sketchy?
Closest.
Is he like a sketchy character, or is he
be.
like lawful good character?
I don't know. I've only seen him for like one level.
All right. Well, I guess that's our preliminary thoughts, or your preliminary thoughts. I have no experience with it. I have a student who's like hating on it real bad every day.
I want to know why. Tell him to write in.
I can give you a couple reasons that he said.
I know he said it. Tell him to write me an email.
Okay, I'll do that.
Where can you write me an email at?
At Underpaid. Well, underpaidgamerspodcast@gmail.com.
That's right.
Is our email. So
you can tweet me if you wanted.
Like to give us maybe your opinion on Fire Emblem Fates,
or your thoughts on Daredevil Season 2.
Feel free to
or
email
your
us.
thoughts on
Uncharted
exclusivity on
Star Wars.
or your thoughts on Uncharted.
Yep. And I mean,
or your thoughts on Green Lantern.
So there's so many things. Your thoughts on anything we've said. Feel free to
or
comment.
things we haven't said.
Tweet at us at Underpaid Gamers. No, UP Gamers Podcast is our Twitter handle.
At UP Gamers Podcast.
Yep.
Email is underpaidgamerspodcast@gmail.com.
We're on SoundCloud, which is great because you can comment at certain times.
That's true.
Which we have a few listeners who take advantage of that.
That's true.
Keep it up. We have a website.
We also respond to those.
Underpaid Gamers Podcast .wordpress.com, I think is our website. It's linked on our SoundCloud. Our SoundCloud profile has everything linked into it.
Nice.
We've got a Facebook group if you want to join that.
We have iTunes.
If you want to use iTunes instead of SoundCloud, that's fine with us. So we'd like to hear from you. Well, we love reading letters, electronic letters, as Tony likes to call them, emails. We love reading those on the show. We've had ideas for our show from our Facebook group before, from emails before. So feel free to contribute to our planning. Because we could use it sometimes.
Meh.
It's really my fault.
We're kind of set up for... Maybe next week we don't have a lot, but Daredevil Season 2...
Yeah, we've got things in our future.
Civil War...
There are things coming out.
Superman.
We're going to talk about them. We may even have 2 episodes about some of them, before and after with movies. Who knows?
Uncharted 4. We're going to have a...
Oh my gosh. Uncharted 4. We're so pumped. So, that being said, thanks for listening. And we'll see you guys next time.
Adios, muchachos.